Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the All Balls Sports Show. Brought to you in part by Truelove's Pizza and Grits at 1144 Riverside Drive. A discussion of any and all sports, local, regional, and national. And now, here are your hosts, Dan James, Eddie Bobo, Ty Cobb, and the coach, Vance Ballou.
Thank you, Bill Jones. Welcome into the All the Ball Sports Show for this Thursday evening, 29th day of November. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving? Everybody at the table have a good Thanksgiving?
Lots of food.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Glad to hear that. Some homework that I need to take care of at the top of the hour. We do this. Christmas parade is coming up on Murray County Now, starting at 7 o'clock on Monday. Ty Cobb and myself will be hosting along with Quan McFall, Hannah Grissom, and my son Ross, who produces the Murray County Now segment on Facebook, so we'll be live. Also, Foster Party of 8, One Christmas Evening, Room for One More is coming up Saturday night at the CHS Gym with the Chorus CHS Band. It is a fundraiser for the band. I encourage everyone to go see this show. I, of course, will be doing the MC work at the beginning of the show. Come see me for nothing else. See, that's the kind of response I expect. But anyway, that's good. We've got Greg Sydlowski in with us tonight, and he is the coach of the CHS men's and ladies soccer. But he brought 4 of his senior players, and these ladies have accomplished a lot in the last couple of 3 months, have they not, Sid?
It's been an awesome season. They kind of joke with me all the time because every time I see them, I mention that we're district champs, and it's, for them it's kind of like, oh yeah, we're district champs. We've lived that moment, and I don't. Yeah,
but that's a big deal.
It is, and but for them, when they hear it from me, I'm just excited, elated for them, for the program. And these 4 girls, along with a couple other seniors, I had 7 seniors, but they've been with me for 4 years, and it was a terrific ride. They in any sport that you play, and you start coaching, when you get into it, sometimes you don't know everything that you're getting into. And so when I took on the program, it was, we went through some tough waters. But this year was just a culmination of what these young ladies were dreaming about. It's funny because I'll watch a video of us jumping around and all over the place, after we ended up winning the district championship. But the year was a fun season. I mean, from the beginning of this year until we ended at the first round of the region there against Stewart's Creek. But great group of young ladies and a great program. The girls, the underclassmen, now see, led by these seniors, exactly what it's going to take to win a championship. And to me, it's, everybody wants to win a state title, but to understand just to, that's only the second title, Dan, at this school. And I've done research, and I went back through, all of what Coach T has, records, things like that, to make sure. And it's just been a great ride this year.
How many months a couple of months did you guys play in the fall?
We start our training in June. Well, actually, we'll start in May.
Right.
We work out at game time. Drew Massey is unbelievable, by the way. Just have to give a shout out to him because he does all of our pretty much our conditioning and weight training during the season. So we start in May. We have a little bit of stuff going on in June, and then July hits, and that's kind of when we get going. We have a 7v7 tournament in July. We had 10 schools there this year. And then our season begins at the end of July. So we go from our first preseason game was July 31st, then we had a play day, and then August, September, and then in October. So that was our season.
Have you been able to single out any schools as a rivalry school? Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Yeah, I
They
think
have.
I think there was they would probably say, and I'm not going to speak for them, and I'm sure you can ask that same question to them, but I think they always.
Oh no, you're conducting the interviews with your players tonight.
Okay. Oh, I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you guys tell them who's our rival.
Most definitely, I think Lincoln County.
Spring Hill.
Yes, Spring Hill.
Everyone can agree on that one.
Yeah, and we
Oh, and Coffee
ladies, what do
County.
you?
Oh yeah,
Coffee
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 County.
County.
You know, which is
Just
our
not
district.
everyone in our district.
Everybody we play, it's just like
What do you get? What did you guys think about Spring Hill? We've struggled, haven't we? I mean, just it's this year's. What did you think about the game this year? Go ahead and tell them.
We kind of fell apart in the middle of that game, but I think that also is the game that we kind of started to come back together as a team during halftime. We had a team meeting, and then we all kind of regrouped ourselves. And I think if we would have played better like we did at the end of the season during that game, we would have most definitely
So
won.
tell me
We
what
would've
the
crushed them.
tell me what the team meeting is like. What do you say to each other?
It was pretty intense team meeting because we were having some argument problems, and we had a junior, Meredith, step up and kind of set us all straight during the meeting, which is funny because she doesn't normally set us all straight, but she did during that, and I think that stood out to everyone on the team.
But there again, my question for you is, what is said during the team meeting? She's not going to say. That's okay. All right.
basically get it together.
And Dan, I mean, we went on like a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah.
At one point in the season, and I think, going to Spring Hill, sometimes when you're playing your rival, and I'm going to say this, and I'll probably take some flack from it. I think we were the better team than Spring Hill. Spring Hill beat us. We had.
Hey, if it's a fact, it's a fact.
Well, I mean,
saying.
they scored their goal on a penalty kick.
Yeah.
We had a girl hand the ball in the box, and then from there it was just kind of it was an even game outside of that. And unfortunately, in soccer, penalty kicks, games can come down to penalty kicks, and it's unfortunately that's the way it ended. But I think Spring Hill will always be our rival. I think from here on out, I would like to get a home and away against them. We usually just play them once, but this year it didn't work out, so we only played them there. And for these girls, all their friends play, so they're always talking smack all year. I think it's a great thing for Murray County. Football does it, and for us, I think that's one of our big games that we get up for. But we all know too, it sometimes when you're playing that game, it doesn't seem like we're playing our best, and I don't know why. I don't know sometimes if it's the nerves or if it's, and I was definitely in that game. Other than other games, I was not real happy. But what you were talking about in that team meeting, they did a pretty awesome job as a group of girls, and I totally,
Do you just back up and let them take charge of the meeting?
Well,
at halftime?
And here's the funny thing, Dan. I mean, it's taken 4 years for this group to finally take hold, and you know what? It was so comfortable to coach again this year, even last year, and they would tell you as well. I gave them a lot of the reins. They led this year, so don't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, they did a lot of the leading practices.
So what you're saying is you threw your hands down and said, "I'm not going to be responsible for this. It's all on you."
Well, yeah. I mean, in a sense, sometimes I think in sports, and coaches will even say sometimes they have to have those moments. I'm trying to remember. I was just reading about there was a thing about Kukoc and the Bulls. And something had happened on the floor with Scottie Pippen. He quit. And I was watching this thing about the Bulls, Chicago Bulls, and how they won their championships. And there was a moment where they all met. And somebody interviewed him and said, "So what did you say in that meeting?" And he goes, "No one will ever know. No one will ever know."
Yeah.
But they, for these girls, I think they know what was said, and they know, how they turned it around.
But it wasn't, the Chicago Bulls during that reign of terror when they had it.
Yes, sir.
Was not just Michael Jordan.
No.
It was Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
It was all 4 of them
Yes,
out
sir.
there.
Yes, sir.
All 5 of them out there who were absolutely incredible as a team.
Yes, sir.
Where individually, they weren't that great.
And they'll tell you, right? We were kind of, in a sense, in that game, looking more individual than we were as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and so somehow they had to, and sometimes that happens when you're playing a rival.
Any chance of you guys, I know you like to play at Lindsey Nelson, but any chance of you guys moving out to the new complex at Ridley once it gets underway?
I mean,
Because that's going to be big and bad out there.
yeah, I mean, that's kind of our home field. I don't know, obviously Columbia State girls soccer is, that's kind of going to be, along with other soccer that's going to be going on in Columbia, which is absolutely amazing how the sport's growing and pushing into different areas outside of Williamson County.
Right.
So yes, I mean, that could be a place. But I've also, talked with Wayne Lindsay, and we girls like to play at the stadium, don't you?
I do.
They do. And why? Tell everybody why do you like it?
It's our place.
It's home,
Mhm.
basically.
Pretty much.
I
Yeah.
like the size of it. It's
Yeah,
a
so-
comfortable size.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. I mean, when you go over, when we have been playing a lot of our home games out there, and it's too narrow. The football fields right now.
Right.
Now that complex out there, it'll be regulation. So, and we've got to sit down and meet, with Marilee and the people out there that run the park. And, but yeah, I mean, we do our 7v7 tournament out there, which is a lot of work for everybody, the players, the coaches, but has been very successful. But they love playing at the stadium. It's a beautiful field. So I'm not going to say we're totally going to move there, but we'll probably, with that complex, if we can work things out where we're not playing when, C State's playing, that would be a good fit as well.
I'm going to let you ask the girls a few questions.
Okay.
And I'm just going to sit here and kind of listen and
Okay.
take it all in because
That's fine.
I am not that knowledgeable about soccer.
Okay.
I've been watching it. Been watching you ladies this year. Yes, I've been out there and seen that. But I'm not that knowledgeable about it, and therefore I don't have the vocabulary that I need to have in order to talk soccer.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's a good thing.
I haven't even learned rugby yet, and I'm on my 3rd year of that.
Right. They're pretty exceptional.
What I learned about rugby is this. Take everything you know about football and soccer, throw it out the window because it applies to nothing.
Basically.
Right. All right, so I'm going to ask this question. What was your most memorable moment? And I'll start down there with Caitlin Cooper. By the way, this is Caitlin Cooper. Say hello.
Hi.
Yeah, there's Lexi Rowe.
Hi.
I'm McKenna Lovelace.
Hi.
And Kimmy Job.
Hi.
Caitlin, kind of give us your most memorable moment, and maybe even talk about your most memorable moment as your career at CHS, and then this year.
This year definitely. I liked how the team was a family, and that in general is like a memory all together. Like the whole season is really like in the past 4 years, probably Franklin County whenever he broke the ceiling and it fell out on us, and McKenna comes in with a bucket saying, "Be quiet," and like it's gonna do something.
Let me reiterate here. Well, we're all in the away locker room, right, waiting to play our game, and I'm out of the locker room. Obviously, it's a women's locker room, so they're in there, and so I come in and say, "Everybody, coach is coming in," and they like, "Hey, come on in. The ceiling fell." So literally, they had a leak, and the whole ceiling had fallen right in the middle of their locker room, and my girls were sitting on the outskirts. So that's kind of one of her, overall memories that they kind of laugh at. It's pretty funny. How about over your career memories?
I don't know. Like, there's so many.
Yeah, there are. All right, Lexi, let's come back to Caitlin on that one. What about your CHS memory this season?
This season, I think I really like how we came together, and even though we did lose the games, I kind of not enjoyed losing the games, but I enjoyed being able to come back from the loss of the game, and I liked how we all worked together. And I think we were a totally different team, even from the games that we were winning in the beginning. I just feel like we were together at the end of the season. I really enjoyed that. And my most memorable all-time, I don't really know. Honestly, I like getting, I don't know, I just like waking up. I hated waking up early, but I liked coming. Oh, that red card. Let's not talk about that red card. Or any of my cards. But
You can talk about your red card.
I'm talking about the red card.
She had a
Now,
red.
I do know red cards.
Okay, well, Lexi did not. Some people get red cards because obviously they hit somebody, or
Just a
they
little
use
bit.
profanity right at.
She went from soccer to rugby.
Yeah, well, the play that she received the card on. Yeah. So what had happened was the ball was played over the top of the back of our defense, and
Right.
she was in goal at the time because Lexi, during her career, started out coming in as a goalkeeper, but she was also an unbelievable field player. And for me, we needed her on the field, and I think these four ladies here would say yes. That was at times during the 4 years they were there. They would probably say, boy, Lexi would be someone that would be nice to have between the pipes. But we ended up having Hanaya Ball, which we'll talk a little bit later about. But she came out to defend, obviously, the goal, and she came out past the 18-yard box, so she really couldn't use her hands. And the girl pushed the ball in front of her, and Lexi took her out. So in a sense,
Whoa. When coach refers to taking her out,
Like a football tackle,
Like-
rugby tackle.
really,
Really?
Yeah.
She flattened out.
I still watch it on Huddle every once in a while.
Caitlin, don't you have that
so
highlighted?
you took her down.
I did.
know.
yeah.
I might.
So yeah, she was not getting to the ball, and then obviously that's what they call a dog so, and that means she's the last defender, and she fouled her with a scoring opportunity. So but it wasn't like what they would consider. Sometimes in some sports they say flagrant one, flagrant two, and
Yeah.
I even know in football now they have certain things about tackling.
Well,
and
you're unsportsmanlike.
yeah,
You get two
right.
and you're out.
Right. So it wasn't like she was overly unsportsmanlike. She was really going after the ball, but
But the
unfortunately,
girl just happened to get in the
yeah,
way.
yeah, right. So
Just the girl was like invisible.
if you could lighten up a red card,
Yeah.
right? It was
If it could be a
it was
pink card.
Yeah. That's kind of what that
Light to it.
that would be. But anyway, McKenna, give us a little bit about your season in CHS memory.
I would just have to say that we lost together and we won together, which is the most important thing, because if you aren't a team, you're not going to win any games at all. You can't win with just one good player or several good players. You have to be knitted together. And my favorite memory would probably have to be, well, that's not a question. It was Lexi's red card for sure. That's all I got it. So,
That's great. Oh,
but yeah, that was it.
all right, awesome. Kimmy.
Well, I just loved how this year, anytime if we messed up or did good, we were always encouraging each other. Yeah, we had our rough spouts that it did mess up, but we still, like, every time somebody made a shot, we congratulated. Every time somebody brought the ball down or cleared it like McKenna does, we congratulated them. It was just a constant uplift. But I don't know my favorite memory. There's way too many.
There's just too many to
Yeah.
think about.
So let's kind of tell them too, how we started the season, right? We met in June, like we normally do. And when I first started coaching, it was, we were starting in March. We
And
changed it up.
We did it on Saturdays.
Yes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
For
we
fun
Wow.
Saturdays.
Monday
Fun
through
Saturdays.
when
Fun Saturday.
Monday through Saturday.
He just running game style. That's really all that means.
He knocked out the 1 mile
Yeah,
on
we had
Saturdays
1
alone.
mile for warm-ups. Yeah.
So things change gradually.
So instead of running like around Murray County Park, we did all of our running inside Lindsey Nelson Stadium.
No, we can't do anything in Lindsey Nelson
Really?
Stadium. No.
So where did we run?
Okay, well, when we first really started my first year coaching, we did a lot of our training at Cook Soccer Park.
Okay.
Because we still don't really have actual training facility on site. We actually train across the street from the actual stadium.
There was a plan in place to put you one up above.
Yes, and unfortunately, right now, we've said things over and over again, and that's to live and talk about for another day. Yeah. But we're hoping
some of us will just have to let that go.
Yes. But I think those type of things will be coming, and that was frustrating for them because they had to travel off campus. So first year and they were freshmen, and McKenna, she decided not to play that year.
Too crucial.
And she wishes, she says to me all the time that I wish I could go back, But hey, her sophomore year came, and that was her decision, and look where she is today. But we started over at Cook, and then it was kind of like we were all headed into the Marines basic training.
It
No.
It was
Boot camp.
really
No, it was fun Saturday.
Saturday.
But the rest of the week it was a mile run and then sprints.
And then we used to do the ladder drill.
And then ladders.
Yes, we did.
And it was like sprints for 20 minutes
like-
too.
oh, yeah.
It wasn't just like a little 5-minute sprint after you ran the
And
mile.
then I think we got one
and it was
water break.
right after.
At
But
the
what is the hardest calisthenic he has you guys do? What do you just absolutely hate?
Sprints.
We didn't really sprint that much this year
yeah,
or
this year
last
wasn't
year,
as bad.
honestly. But yeah, sprints are pretty bad. But you got to do it
I
to
don't
stay in shape.
mind sprints as much. I just really hate burpees.
Oh, burpees are awful.
And we did,
Oh, my
burpees. We did some burpees this year, but again, I'm going to tell you this, Dan. I mean, it goes to the testament of how the program grew.
Mm-hmm.
In the first 2 years, it was almost like I was trying to find myself, even as a coach. So it was like, oh my goodness, I was rethinking things. I was going home. Sometimes talking to my wife, making phone calls, talking to other coaches in the building to really find what was going to best fit for my girls. And they would tell you from year one, it was different to year 4. But that's a testament to their drive and the leadership before them. First year was really, really tough. New coach. That's for any coach. Okay. Second year was a little bit better, and I'll tell you, we won one game, girls. First year.
First year?
First year we won one game.
Against Lawrence or something like that.
Yeah, it was against Lawrence County, and it was that senior night freshman year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't even play that night.
And we were excited, to say the least. And then the second year, I think we won 2, tied a couple.
Yeah.
And then which was their sophomore year, and then last year, I think we were just a couple games under 500. And really, we had injuries. Lexi was hurt in the district tournament, which she's a big staple. And I think her sophomore year, right? You tore your ACL?
No,
Freshman year, coming out of the year. So her freshman year, Kimmy tore her ACL. So, and I just things changed from year 1 to year 4. And the way that I directed myself as a coach and the way that I figured to train. And, of course, we adopted game time, which I think was absolutely amazing. Drew Massey, I mean, I'm going to give him all kinds of props right here. We're on this station. The guy, these girls absolutely love the guy.
But let me give you a little inspiration here, too. The fact that you're not only coaching the ladies, but you're also coaching the men. So when you're doing that, don't you have 2 different sets of standards that you're working at as far as training goes? I mean, it's basically the same, but it's different, if you understand what I mean.
That's
In other words, you're giving the ladies the same Marine Corps training that you're giving the guys.
yeah.
No.
No. The guys, it's like
guys,
The guys just scrimmage all practice.
Haven't experienced Marine Corps training.
No, they don't.
They haven't.
I didn't put up with it either way. So.
Yeah, you know, they always it's a big, huge. They're at each other, the girls and the boys of the building. I mean, it really kind of reached a hilt this year, going about 3 or 4 games in, where I had to say, okay. I met with the girls and said, listen, you know, forget about what they're saying, forget about how they're saying that you're doing, or we can do this and we can do that. Let's just focus on us. And they, you know, and these girls know, kudos to them. The program under Drew Norman and even before Drew Norman has been very successful. These girls have worked their tails off to be successful. Okay. And not saying anything less about our boys program, because they work their tails off as well. It's so good for them to be in this moment and to say, okay, this is Lady Lions soccer. This is what, you know, we've been a part of building this, and this is where we want to be for a long time. And they've shown these young girls, these underclassmen, what it takes to get to that point. So, listen, I'm going to say it again. Girls, we won a district title. I mean, how unbelievable is that? The second in school history. And here's the thing, you know, and I'm going to change gears here a little bit and ask them a question, because I want to know what they thought. You know, girls going in, and we're gonna kind of relive this. Remember last week of the season, we all there with me? Shelbyville, right? We're playing Shelbyville, and then we got to play Franklin County. 2 key games in our district. This is going to put us at number 2 in the district if we either win or tie.
And no one wants to go to Franklin County, much less play Franklin County.
Right. We don't want. Well, the thing is Franklin County was the bottom, though.
Yeah.
We're talking about Lincoln. Lincoln in our district has been to the state tournament 2 out of the last 4 years now. They've won the district. This would have been the 3rd year if they would have. Right, they would have 3-peated if we didn't knock them off in the semifinals. So they've won our district back-to-back years.
Right.
I'm going to ask them, you know, go back to that week, right? What was our thought process going in, right? We're playing Shelbyville. What did we say, right? Going in, we're playing them at Lindsey Nelson, right? Why was that such a big game? And we all knew why. Why? Tell the audience.
Because it was going to determine our place in the district for before tourney time.
Right. And all we had to do was win or tie there. Because we knew going into Franklin County's game that we beat them 2-0 earlier. Okay? So what happened, girls?
We got smacked.
I mean, it was truth. And another part of our learning, right, during the season, I mean, it just was like we were all pumped up. We were at home, right? And it was like, man, this is what we have to do. We knew it. We met as a team, and it just felt good. And we turned around, and it was just like, boom. And where did that put us, Kimmy, in the district? Do you remember?
3rd? No.
Nope.
4th.
4th. We ended up 4th in our district. What did we do senior night? No.
Dominated.
We dominated. I mean, Franklin County didn't even belong on the field there, Dan. We won 5-0. It was, I mean, it didn't even look like.
That was the night I drove by.
Yes, sir.
And I saw it on the scoreboard, and I'm like, cool.
That's all. Yeah, we were, I think we used all that momentum from Tuesday night's game that we should have had against Shelbyville. But here's the thing. So here's what happens. In a sense, we're now number 4 in our district. There's only 5 teams. And now we knew we just beat Franklin County, and we had to turn around and play them when? Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they changed the time
because they
for
wanted to
a
go to a
concert.
concert.
Yeah. So we had to we changed times.
Hope it was a good concert.
Well,
It was a very hot game.
it was a very hot game. Played at noon. So tell them a little bit about that game.
Well, Kimmy got headbutted, and she got a big cut on under her eye that needed stitches. She came out, put a bandage on it, and said, "Well, I'm going back in." And then she scored a goal. So.
There you go. I mean,
tough, dude.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Who hit the crossbar first 8 minutes into the game?
Number 5 from Franklin County.
Yeah. So actually, Franklin County could have been up 1-0 within the first 8 minutes. Girl gets broke through, hit it over the top of our goalkeeper, hit the crossbar, bounces off. Really, the only major look at the goal that they had all game. And how did you guys feel as the game was going on and we're getting down to like the 15th minute, the 12th minute? It's 0-0. You know, to left in the game. What was going through your mind, Lex?
It was definitely stressful because we had just beaten them before, and I knew we could beat them, but the game was hot, it was exhausting, and we had shots on goal. We just hadn't gotten any in, and it was very intense.
Okay, Caitlin and Kimmy, why don't you take us through how we scored that goal with 12 minutes left in the game?
Okay, so we had it was an indirect kick, so somebody had to touch the ball before the ball went into the goal. Like, 2 people basically had to touch it. So I was like, all right, Kimmy, I'm going to tap the ball and you go. And so I tapped the ball real quick and she just shot it and went in. Okay. And their coach was like, they didn't stop the ball. It was stopped.
Okay,
it was stopped.
She didn't even say, Kimmy, I'm going to touch the ball. She just said, Kimmy. And I was like, all right, I got you. And, like, she just came, touched it. And that coach, he went off. And I was like, I literally put the ball down. Like, you can see it, but it's okay.
Our minds are connected.
For all the listeners that may not understand soccer, okay, anytime that you're fouled in soccer, you can have a quick restart, okay? A quick restart means you set the ball down and you go. It doesn't matter how far you are away from the ball. Now, if you set the ball down and you're as close as I am to you, Dan, right, you have to back up 10 yards. Are you with me?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In this instant, we're right outside our 18, okay? So there's that big box in soccer, right? She gets fouled. Now, we talk about it a lot in practice, quick restarts. Okay, so they get fouled, and when it's an indirect kick, a direct kick means you can set it and hit it right away. You don't have to and score on it, right? And an indirect kick is you have to set it, and somehow when you kick it, it has to deflect off another team or your team into the goal. So here's what happened. They were right on it because right when we got fouled, Caitlin set it, and all it has to do is be set. It cannot be rolling. She set it, touched it, poked it to Kimmy. And what happens there is if they're not on top of their defense and we quick restart, their goalkeeper wasn't even ready. Kimmy they set it, tapped it to her, she hit it, the goalkeeper went just like that. And the ball went right in the back of the net. So those type of things, when you're in practice and when you're talking to the ladies, even during halftime or before the game, they mentally
it was textbook.
It was totally textbook. And boy, oh boy, was their coach going crazy. He was on fire. He's like, oh,
he
my
was
goodness.
ballistic.
They even went over and talked to the AR because you
really?
They went. The middle official went over and talked to the sideline official and said, was the ball set? And it was. And so our girls, we go up 1-0. We go on, and you know how strange that is. And I know Coach Blue's here, and I'm sure he's going to be nodding here. You play a team during the year, blow them out, and then all of a sudden you're in a playoff game, and it's like, you know, and that's kind of our mindset together. I think all of us were in belief that, hey, but I'll tell you right now, Franklin came out. They were, you know, they gave us everything they had because, hey, it was win or go home. That was the play-in game.
I think Coach kind of remembers 2010 with Tullahoma, how that was. Yeah.
We lost to them.
Yeah. Lost her in the regular season, but blew them out in the playoffs.
Okay. So, you have that.
Was that the night the lights went out?
That was.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I was going to bring it up.
Hey, so that was our first game. So we were a 4 and they were a 5. We were playing at Lindsey Nelson. Now we're advanced. But guess who we're now facing? Girls?
Lincoln County.
Lincoln County.
Ooh.
And we haven't beat them in every game since I've coached. So that's 6 games, six straight. We were 0-6. I'm sorry, we tied them. Our first regular season that when we faced them during the regular season, we tied them 2-2 here over at Ridley. Went into their place. They beat us 3-0. So they were the number 1 seed. They had won 2 district titles back to back. They had been to the state tournament the last 2 years, so they were top 8 in the state. And talk a little bit about how that whole day went and your thoughts.
We got there really, really early. Really early. That game, because Coach wanted us to get really comfortable with the field and with the area, and
We're at Lincoln now, remember, not Coffee.
Coffee,
about
we got
Lincoln.
there.
We're not there yet. Yeah, this is the number. What we're trying to tell them is, yeah, Lexi, it's okay, because I mean we hadn't beat them, right? So just kind of explain to them. I mean, we were the number 4 seed going into the number 1 seed, right? And you know what that means. Any coach does. Dan, you know what that means. So tell them a little bit.
Oh, nobody had faith in us. Literally, not the refs. The refs didn't even expect us to make it on to the championship. Everyone just expected Lincoln County. They were going to go win. That was just like the plan in everyone's head. And we showed up and we destroyed them too.
What was the final?
Smacked them.
What was the final?
It was 4-0, right?
4-0.
Wow.
4-0. Tell them about all their boys fans. They had all their boys.
Oh, yeah.
They had they had about 30 guys
Goodness.
Dan, I'm talking right close. Did we hear anything out of them the
They
whole game?
slowly inched back up towards the parents as the game went on.
And I don't think I saw them at the end of the game. I don't
No,
think they
I
were
think
there.
they probably
At the
left.
beginning of the game, they were talking me,
Yeah.
because they were talking to me, and I'm like, meh, whatever.
Right.
But and then after we scored, they were like, never mind. I'm like,
we
"That's what I
actually
thought."
we actually had a new formation, not a new formation, but we had moved Kimmy up top. So and we had been playing that way. We played a 4-1-4-1, which for some people, and all of us during the season, they all wanted to see all kinds of other formations, but they know as well as I do that probably best served our team. Okay, Lexi was our holding mid. For a lot of the year, she was our attacking midfielder. Midfielders are very important because they control the middle of the field. Not only your midfielders also are really meant to be tougher on the ball and be able to hold on to the ball and then distribute the ball. Okay, and at times, if necessary, strike the ball from distance and score. Caitlin's an outside mid, and she's right outside mid. She's been playing there all year. Lexi,
You got this smile about that too.
Yeah.
That's what I am. That's what I do.
You're right.
That's my home.
Yeah. Lexi plays our holding mid.
That sounds like my daughter. I swear it does. That's my
Well,
home.
and
That's where I belong.
Lexi is just tough. She's our holding mid. She's right in front of our 4 defenders. And then we moved Kimmy that game and had been moving her up top as our lone striker. And McKenna was our center back, so the middle of our field with the outside, that was our strength. Okay. And we ended up moving Lakeisha Rosales, who was a sophomore, back to attacking mid, has great feet, great vision. So the first goal, what did you think, Kimmy, after we scored that first goal?
I was like, we're in this. We can do this. Because after that first goal, I was like, maybe it's different this time. So it was just, I mean, I believed in the first place, but it was just kind of like, yeah, we can really do this because we never win at their place. I don't think we ever score at their place.
Yeah, I don't. We had never scored at their place in my years of coaching.
haven't.
So Kimmy scores the first goal. The coach over here had not been there. The assistant coach had been running practice, and he had told me before the game. He says, I don't really know, what I'm going to see out of my girls, and I'm just thinking as a coach, we're ready. We're ready. I just knew they were ready. When we got off the bus, they were ready. We scored the first goal, and I was like, and we talked about it too. We talked about turning a page. We talked about, hey, now we need to turn the page in this district, right? Lincoln County has been on top. They have been dominant. And what did we say the first week of June? Nobody wants to play who? Us. Nobody wants to play us. Because I'm going to tell you right now, these girls in our district were the hardest working soccer team in all 5 schools. I would put them up against any of them in our district. And even in the region game that we played against Stewart's Creek, these young ladies just work. And we said that night. We said, we're going to change this. We're turning the page in this district. We're winning this game. We're not leaving this field without a W. She scores. We turn around, put the second goal in. I think that was Emily Cheek, right? Emily Cheek scores the second one. Who scores the third? Emily again, freshman, scores the next two. We're up 3-0 at halftime. Dead silence there. And coach knows this. When you have dead silence when you're on a way, that is just your advantage. Your advantage. And our fans, I think some of our fans were in disbelief. I don't think the parents were, but there were some fans that were probably there that were like, we are, halftime comes out. And Lincoln County, when do you think you saw the sales, ladies, go out of Lincoln County? When do you think?
Before halftime. It was definitely before halftime.
Yeah. And then, of course, Kimmy, with about 10 minutes left in the game, puts the icing on the cake and puts another one, and it was 4-0. And how did you guys feel when the buzzer went off? Give a little bit of an explanation to that.
We made history.
Well, it's just, that's how you feel. I was just like, I'm sitting there just loving it for these girls. What'd you feel, Lexi?
It was almost as big of a game as the district championship was, just because of how big of like a team that was to beat. It was like David beating Goliath in a way.
Yeah.
It was really exciting.
And it's right. They've been on top, and we talked about that. Hey, no one expects us to be here.
Sure.
Right? It's funny, and she says that the refs didn't believe this, right? Our district game, the refs that did our district game were on another game before we went, while Lincoln County was going on. And they had already talked before the game that they were going to go to Lincoln County again for the third year in a row to ref games for the district, because Lincoln had been there for 3 straight years. It was funny. As the game was going on, the center referee runs by the sideline official and goes, Columbia just beat Lincoln 4-0. The guy dropped his flag. No, I talked to him. He dropped his flag. Literally like, what? So, even the referees, had no faith in us, So we what a year. And then to take us through, where did we have to go to win the district championship?
Coffee County.
Good old Manchester.
Good old Manchester. And we left real early, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. We were there like early. 2 hours early.
We were there 2 hours early.
I wanted to get there 2 hours early. And here's the reason.
You can't get there from here. You have to want to get there from here.
Yes, right. They were the 3 seed. Mm-hmm. So again, let's think about sports, right? We always think about it. If we were gonna win this thing, we had to win on the road. Right. And one of the most difficult things to do in any sport is to be that bottom seed and have to win on the road. So the year before, we were knocked out in the semifinals 4-2 against Coffee County. So here we are, traveling all the way out to Coffee again, and kind of take them through a little bit of that experience. All of you just kind of pipe in.
Well, again, we got there 2 hours early just to fill the ground and get comfortable with it. So I got comfortable with it writing an essay, but
she did. She wrote an essay, right?
I was right on the field just writing my essay. That was like due the next day because, procrastination is the best, man. But I remember Coffee County rolling in. They had escorts from the police, and me and Kimmy were using the restroom, and we thought like somebody was dying or something.
Yeah.
And no, that was being escorted in, and our girls just kind of looked at them and was like laughing, like, that doesn't scare us. You got nothing on us.
See, the bad part is we came out and they were on the ground laughing out of the bathroom, and I was like, what is going on out here? But it was insane.
We kind of just looked at them and then stared for like 1.2 seconds and then turned back around and kept doing what we were doing. Wasn't really bothered at all.
Yeah, so they got there and they were just kind of
So the psych mode lasted about a half a second.
Yeah.
For
I don't
them.
even think
They
we
didn't
were
get anything
even
out of
psyched
it.
at all. I think
Yeah.
we just looked at them and laughed. Like, it was funny. Like, what are you doing? This is our game.
Police
Like,
escorted
who do you
in,
think you
and we're all
are?
looking at it, and I'm watching my girls, and here they are, just like they said. I wanted them to kind of explain the scenario, and that's what they did. They just looked for a minute, and then they went right back to what they were doing. And the great thing about getting up there early, and like for them, to me, it was like, I want to get up there early. I want them just to have fun. I don't want it all to be serious. We had a serious ride up there. Of course, it's a long ride, so resting and putting their headphones in. But when we got there, it was like, just like she said, she's writing an essay. Girls, they start doing corner kicks and laughing and giggling and being loud. And here's the key thing. My memory from that whole scenario was this. I look at Billy Job, who was my assistant, and then I've also hired Sabrina Gonzalez as a volunteer assistant as well, Colton's assistant, who was alumni. And I looked at both of them. I said, hey, in just a minute, I'm going to go over there and, we're going to cut it, because it was time to kind of get serious. And the crazy thing about all this, and coaches will love this, I turn around literally about a minute or two after I had said that, and these young ladies as seniors had already taken care of that. I said, what are you doing? They said, it's time to get ready. Okay. I mean, as a coach, I turn around and say, you know what? This is what you dream about as a coach.
Yeah. That's the discipline that you've instilled in that.
And it took a long time, but they were ready for that moment. And from then on, I mean, how did the game go?
Well, they scored first, but we answered really fast. Like, I think it was only like
a minute or two. Yeah,
that we scored after them, and then a freshman scored, Mariah, and then who scored the last goal?
Lakeisha.
And then Lakeisha scored. But then they scored another one because their striker turned and then shot the ball, and it went right in the very bottom corner. So that one was
It was just a good shot.
So the game, they score first. We're like, and the thing about this group and even our bench and the girls that are there, their abilities to just cheer on their teammates, they come off the field. All of our girls together just backed each other. Like if they would come off the field, the girls on the bench would talk to them and cheer them up and get them back in the flow. We scored the first goal we scored. Kimmy hit a 30-yard. She drilled it underneath the crossbar. So it was a foul, about 30 yards out. She hits it. The thing just like a missile, right? Hits it. We're all going crazy on the sideline. It's 1-1, and what they said was, and I think it was tied 1-1 at half. So tied 1-1 at half, and I talked to the girls at before we got off the bus, and I said, you know what? Somebody is going to score or do something that we wouldn't think would do something. And guess what happens? The smallest girl on our team, Mo Malikian, right? Freshman, scores. And our girls were just, all of them were, at that moment, I said, we're going to win this thing. 2-1. They adjusted then. I think they sent their center midfielder back. She was playing sweeper now. So it was like they had to adjust to what we were doing. Kimmy, I think we swapped her from our striker to midfield in that game. We played her on both sides. McKenna had a wonderful game in the back as a defender all game with Malia. Lexi was absolutely unbelievable. Outside mid, Caitlin in that game was great. We ended up putting our third goal in, and oh my goodness, I can't even tell you. As the seconds were ticking down, I'm on the sidelines thinking, and I'm pacing back and forth, man. And I can feel it today. I can feel it right now. And I'm like, oh my goodness, is this really happening? It's almost like you're numb. And I'm gonna tell you, I was just as happy as these four young ladies.
You're gonna miss these seniors.
We don't have and I ball here tonight. She was our goalkeeper.
We're trying to get Kimmy on a 5th-year senior program.
Yeah, yes. All of them can be 5th-year seniors, and I don't know. They would love to just come back for one. I think they would. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But
I
hey,
don't know about the high school part of it.
Okay. So I got their teacher in here on contemporary issues. But real quick, what a year. If you guys would also share with the station a little bit about where you guys may be headed in your futures, what you guys maybe you're but tell them what you want to do with soccer and even your education. Could you share that with everybody?
Oh, I guess we're all looking at me. Okay.
Caitlin, we'll start with you.
So I'm planning to go to Columbia State for my 2 years, Tennessee Promise, and probably going to play. Actually, I am going to play soccer on the women's soccer team there with Colton coaching, and I'm really excited about it because I've went out and I've seen them play. I know some of the girls on the team, and you can just tell it's a family too, and I'll get along in that environment, and I think I'll fit into that program.
There'll be new digs out there at Ridley too.
Yeah. Beautiful new field, man. That's awesome.
Nice new field.
Lexi?
I'm planning on going to Martin Methodist and playing for their soccer team. I've played with some of the coach was my former travel coach, and I really love the program there, and I've been there a few times to watch their games, and they have a good winning background, and I'm really excited, and hopefully I'm just going to keep working and maybe be able to play past that point because I know he does have a lot of connections out there, so that's another really big plus for playing with him.
That's awesome.
I'm probably the only one that doesn't really know what I'm gonna do. I have an offer to play at Martin, and then I have one to Motlow, and then I have one to C State. But I'm really working on UNA right now. The coach is watching me play in January, and if that goes well, then I'm gonna go to UNA.
UNA is a good school.
Well, I don't know where I'm going either. You're not alone, McKenna. Well, see, I've gotten off from C-State to come play, but I'm going to a camp at Trevecca soon that they're going to look at me. The coach has actually emailed. My basketball coach actually is the one that put it all together. Mm-hmm. And the coach has emailed my basketball coach back, and he's messaged my dad back about coming up there. And I've already been accepted to Trevecca as a school, so we're looking there. And I'm looking at a couple others like Murray State. I'm going to camp soon and stuff like that.
Good deal.
What do you want to study, Kimmy?
Oh, I want to be a physical therapist, so I'm trying to get a degree in physical therapy.
What about you, McKenna?
Pre-health professions.
And Lexi?
Exercise science.
Caitlin?
I'm all over the place, but really leaning into being a radiologist or a pharmacist. So
here's what's absolutely amazing about everything that they've just said is the fact that they're going to go play college soccer somewhere. And from day one, and they know this, I've wanted them to train even in high school, and they've played all kind. They play travel, and I'm not going to take homage to any of their abilities because all kinds of people in this community have been a part of their soccer lives, whether it was their dad, whether it was their Arsenal coach, whether it was their TSC coach, Tennessee Soccer Club. I mean, I'm just one part of them. Look at the basketball coach, knows the Trevecca coach, and is able to make connections and help Kimmy, maybe get an offer from Trevecca. I'm so excited. And the greatest thing is it's local. So as a coach,
sure. Yeah.
I'm going to be able to say, all right, I get to go see Caitlin on Thursday night, on Saturday night. I'm going to go see, and then the next Thursday I'll be able to see Kimmy maybe, and then the next Thursday travel down to. So it's not going to be far away to where even as a high school coach I can enjoy that. And there are any coaches in Blues here. There's nothing like being able to watch kids that have been part of your program excel at the next level. And that is one thing that I have totally preached to them. I want you guys to have an opportunity to play at the next level. I really do.
Well, see, the career path for me was this. Either have a radio career or brain surgeon. You see how that worked out.
Okay. right. And it's been and obviously this community loves you, Dan.
Thank you.
I mean, it's this is just a great platform. I was really excited because I think this program, the Lady Lions, we have a great underclassmen, they would say. They're going to – I know. And even our last year's group and the group before, they come back and they watch them. They were at the championship game. They were excited to see them win a championship because they were part of building the mentality that they put together this year.
One of the reasons we decided to do this YouTube platform was that it's not just local radio. This is worldwide. This is YouTube. This is
right.
Every week, you want to go back and see yourselves in an hour. If it renders in an hour, then we'll have it up on YouTube, and we'll also have it up on Facebook.
Right.
But that's what makes this particular platform neat, is the fact that we can feature local folks, and if you have people who live outside the state of Tennessee, and you can say, hey, go catch me on the YouTube channel. We had a great show last night.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So that's what makes this platform a whole lot better than what we'd have with local radio.
And I think it's great for these young kids and these athletes
absolutely.
to be able to speak their mind. What I would ask them.
And then you can see how much knowledge I do not have about some sports.
Right. And that's okay. But what you're offering is the collective group of sports that are Columbia Central. Ladies, what would you tell your underclassmen that may be listening and that will be, and I know you had an opportunity.
That Saturday mornings are fun times.
Yeah.
No fun
We're going to get back to those.
No,
this
please don't.
Okay.
I feel bad for them if you do.
Look at
Good luck.
I'm not sure if you'll have any underclassmen if you get back to
Oh, and by the way, our program has grown. The first year, I think, what did we end up with, like 18?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
18.
It's grown to 34.
Wow.
34 we had this year. So, but what would you tell those young ladies? Because I know some of them are listening. And they're listening to you. You know.
Ooh, sorry.
And they're seeing you too.
Right.
I would just tell y'all never to give up on your dreams, to have hope and have faith in whatever you're desired to do, because you can do anything that you put your mind to. And if somebody tells you you can't, don't believe them. Like, just look at them and be like, I'm going to show you up and I'm going to show you wrong, because you have the capabilities of doing anything you want to.
Lexi, that's awesome. Thanks, Caitlin.
I don't know, thank you to them, first of all, because we had a great season with them, and without them, we wouldn't have gotten the places that we got. We had several younger people contribute to our wins. Like we said, like freshmen were scoring in our final district tournament, and I think that they're really, really talented, and that if they stick with it and work all together, that they're going to continue to have great seasons.
I would just say that all of them are very talented. It's not like we brought in a bunch of underclassmen that haven't played soccer before, or they've only played for a couple years. Most of them have played travel for almost half of their life, and I would like to thank them too, just because they are always so sweet, and I made friendships with them, and I know they're going to do good next year.
I would tell them to never lose their confidence. I mean, I struggle with that sometimes, but to never lose their confidence in what they're doing, because sometimes it is hard to do things. And my dad's always told me, don't listen to how coach is saying it, but listen to what he's saying to you.
That's great. And
so saith the Billy Job.
Yeah, yes. And I think that's so right. I mean, that for coaches sometimes, we're so involved in the moment. Right. I know Caitlin's taking the brunt of things sometimes from me, and Lexi's taking the brunt of things. McKenna,
but it's not personal.
No, it's really not. And I've told them
it's basically business.
It is business, and right. What do I say? Don't take it. I mean, that's the words. That's the words that I use. Right.
It happens, and then you move on.
Yeah, it happens, and then you move on.
Oh
But how long? Some players, you learn that you have to operate differently with. But I can tell all four of these young ladies, including the girls that aren't here. I'm going to tell you right now. If I could have walked all 34 into this place and give them all an opportunity to speak on this mic, there is no doubt in my mind that I would do it.
Well, here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing 4 young ladies right here.
Yes, sir.
Who are articulate, who are smart, who are athletic and who will make something of themselves that we can all be proud of in the future.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yes.
Hey,
there's no doubt in my mind.
How many kids I've been around in the last few years? A lot. I don't say that about everybody, but I can tell that with these four right here. This one right here knows how I feel about her family. So, yeah.
I'd like to leave with this to these young ladies, not only the four of these, but the girls that are the seniors that aren't with us and the girls that are coming back next year. It is a privilege to be a coach. It's a privilege to be a leader. It's a privilege to learn every day in a sport that you've grown to love. And I've appreciated all four of your hard work, and also the other 32. Look at my addition there. I'm glad I'm not a math teacher. The 28 others that are not here. I really, really do appreciate them. The coaches, Sabrina, that came on, Billy Job that came on, or has been with me for 3 years, and Carden Virgo that has been a backbone. Those three have really, really helped and were a great asset to this program. And I cannot wait. I told them every time they see me, I'm going to remind them about this district championship. And I don't care what people think. Oh, you've said that yesterday. Okay. And I'll say it today.
Well, here's the one thing I can say before we leave. The right coach at the right time.
Wow. Thank you. Appreciate that.
There you go.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
All right, ladies, thank y'all for coming in. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Coach Sid.
Thank you, Dan.
By the way, he does go as Coach Sid because his last name is almost difficult and if not impossible to yeah, there you go. Greg Sydlowski. We are out of here for this evening. Everybody have a great Thursday evening, everybody.